The station drifted like a ghost above the shadowed crescent of Zeta 41c. From inside, the universe was silent, a vast black ocean of stars. Consoles hummed softly, lights blinked in slow rhythms, the kind of quiet that made you hear your own heartbeat. Commander Ray Covry, early 40s, disciplined, sharp-eyed, stood at the wide observation panel, staring into the void. She sipped cold synthetic coffee, her posture too rigid for off-duty hours. A light chirp broke the silence. Jonah LAI 27, shaggy-haired systems tech, with a dry wit and a 1,000-yard stare from watching too much static, looked up from his terminal. Jonah, muttering, false echo again. Probably that dead comm buoy from Sector 14. Another chirp, then a blinking red signal, brief, stuttering, almost shy. Commander Ray. Jonah? He tapped keys quickly, isolating the input. Jonah. Okay, that's weird. Got something on channel Theta 19. It's narrowband compressed, but it's not one of ours. RA. Playback. Static filled the small control bay. Then something else. A pulse. 3 beats. Long silence. Then a high-frequency squeal, almost like a voice underwater. Jonah looked confused. Jonah could be a corrupted packet from the mining colonies. The compression's brutal if the data's old. RA. Too clean for random drift. What's the origin? Jonah tapped again. A glowing map unfolded. Sector grids, coordinate rings, a single blinking pin. Jonah. Coordinates place it deep into unpatrolled space. No colonies, no stations, nothing. Just dust and solar shadows. RA. How far? Jonah. 7.2 light hours. Far, but not out of reach. I can run a pulse scan for signal decay. Jonah's screen flickered with spectrograms, layered frequencies, overlapping bursts. A line formed in the data, jagged and rhythmic, like a voice trying to scream underwater. Jonah, it's not human, not coded in any known Earth standard encryption, but it's structured, intentional. RA, meaning someone or something meant for it to be heard. Jonah hesitated. Jonah, or not by us. RA, run a linguistic grid overlay. Try Aurelian and precursor cipher trees. 2. He gave her a surprised glance. Jonah, Aurelian? That language project's been mothballed for 6 years. RA, so was SETI. Look where we are. Jonah began decoding routines, watching lines of alien symbols begin to form. Some repeated. Some were symmetrical. The machine struggled, then paused. Jonah, getting a partial translation. A phrase keeps showing up. He turned the screen so she could read. Not meant, not safe, not meant for human minds. Ray read the line twice, her pulse quickening. RA, how much did it leak through before we caught it? Jonah, just the opening fragment. The rest is still compressed. But there's a pattern here. Not a distress call, at least not the kind we know. A heavy silence fell between them. The station vibrated softly, just a hum of inertial stabilizers, but it felt closer now, like the signal had weight. RA, any chance this is a trap? Pirate echo? Military testing? Jonah, no pirate's going to waste time encrypting alien languages to bait a backwater outpost. And the military doesn't ask questions they don't want answers to. Ray nodded slowly. She turned and walked to the main console. Her fingers hovered above the manual link interface. Jonah, Commander, with all due respect, this isn't protocol. Echo Station regs say no direct reply without EarthGov clearance. RA, I'm not replying. She tapped keys. Screens flickered. RA counted. I'm listening. The signal filtered in again. This time longer, louder, more insistent. It was layered. Overlapping patterns like fractal logic. Pulses arranged with eerie musicality. Jonah flinched. Jonah, I don't think we're supposed to hear this. RA, maybe not, but someone sent it anyway. She stepped back, gaze locked to the screen as if it might speak again. Jonah, Commander, what if this isn't just a warning? What if it's a lock? A key? Ray didn't answer. Outside the glass, the stars sat unmoved, cold and ancient. But in the center of the grid, something had changed. A soft, blinking icon had appeared. New coordinates received. RA softly. It's leading us somewhere. Jonah swallowed hard. Jonah, then the real question is, are we supposed to follow? RA, no. Pause. But we're going to. The signal pulsed steadily now, once every 60 seconds. In the silence of Station Echo 7, it had become a metronome for something no human truly understood. In Analysis Bay, Station Echo 7, Jonah hunched over the main terminal, eyes rimmed with sleeplessness, hands moving in precise bursts. The signal was unraveling, fragment by fragment. Ray stood behind him, arms crossed, silent but alert. The console displayed distorted visuals, bursts of static and color, like shattered glass being reassembled. Jonah, these aren't just data packets. They're visual elements embedded in the waveform, compressed into the modulation layers. He tapped a few keys. The screen flickered, then snapped into a chaotic sequence. Blurry images, alien vessels, scorched hulls, fire blooming in a vacuum, a species not quite humanoid, tall and luminous, clustered aboard metallic arc ships, all caught in moments of terror. RA, freeze that frame. Enhance Sector 4. Jonah zoomed in. One of the figures was pressed against a curved viewport, eyes glowing faintly, hands bloodied, not with wounds, but symbols, written in some kind of crimson language, smeared on glass. RA, softly. That's not a distress call. Jonah, no, it's something else. A message in blood. He isolated the symbols and ran them through the ancient precursor cipher tree. The program struggled, skipped, then spat out 5 translated words. Not safe. Stay away. Listen. Ray leaned in. Behind the figure, the background flickered. A large dark mass, a shape that seemed to bend light, hulking and alive, floated in the debris field. No details, no motion, just presence. RA, what is that? Jonah, I've enhanced it 4 times. It doesn't render properly. No thermal signature, no return echo. It's like the data doesn't want to be seen. He rewound the sequence. That dark presence, it flickered at irregular intervals, like an afterimage burned into dying memory. RA, could be a cloaked ship, Jonah, or something worse. The screen jolted. A sudden spike in the audio wave. Jonah's fingers danced across controls, stabilizing the signal. It wasn't just static now. It was a voice. Alien, garbled, layered over itself hundreds of times. A language not designed for human vocal cords or ears. But something about it felt intentional, repetitive. Jonah, it's using recursion encoding, self-referencing data loops. That's old school. Almost like, he paused, eyes narrowing. Jonah, coned, it's searching for compatibility. Like it's adjusting itself to be understood. Ray didn't speak, but her breath caught slightly. The waveform shimmered again. Jonah initiated a decryption overlay. The signal slowed, dropped an octave, and reassembled into crude, near-understandable speech. This vessel is no longer safe. Contagion spreads. Frequencies not secure. Then silence. Jonah, that wasn't a cry for help. That was a containment warning. RA, they didn't want to be found. They wanted to keep others away. Jonah sat back, blinking. Jonah, the frequency isn't random either. It's locked on an archaic relay band. The kind used by deep-range alien civilizations to signal each other without human interception. RA, but we intercepted it. Jonah, we weren't supposed to. He rotated the signal in the software's dimensional filter, revealing the full breadth of the waveform. In the middle, beneath the modulation tones, was a secondary, deeply buried structure. Jonah enhanced and extracted it. A star map unfolded. Sparse. Empty. Only a single sector was highlighted. Sector Theta 117. The same place the original transmission had originated from. A trail of dots bled outward like a spreading infection, each marked by glyphs or warnings. Jonah, there's a pattern here. Each symbol aligns with points of decay, as if each signal burst coincided with systems' fall. Entire systems. RAE, you're saying this signal, is tracking destruction? Jonah, worse. I think it's what survives after destruction. He tapped a glyph near the edge of the map. It blinked once, then updated. A new point pulsed into view, dangerously close to Echo 7's own coordinates. RAE, that wasn't there before. Jonah, no, it wasn't. They stared at it for a long moment. The console chirped. A new data stream began unfolding on its own, unrequested. The signal was evolving, not just repeating, learning. Jonah commented, it's like it's trying to talk to us now, not just warn us. The voice returned, clearer than before, slower, almost mournful. We are lost. We are burning. They cannot see us. They should not see us. This message was not meant for you. Then, again, that phrase buried beneath everything else. Not meant for human minds. Jonah leaned back, visibly shaken. Ray's expression tightened as the station lights dimmed briefly, just a flicker, then returned to normal. RA, prep the shuttle. I want eyes on Theta, 117 within the next 6 hours. Jonah, Commander, if what we just saw is real, RA, that's exactly why we're going. If this is a trap, we need to know. If it's a warning, we need to see what they were warning against. Jonah hesitated. Jonah, what if the message wasn't meant for anyone to see? Ray picked up her sidearm from the locker, locking eyes with him. RA, then the real question is, why send it all? To be continued. Next chapter. The vote. Back at Station Echo 7, the crew must decide. Follow Ray's command or follow protocol. Not everyone is willing to risk everything for a message not meant for them. The image of Sector Theta, 117, still glowed on the main console. The red pulsed at its heart like a ticking clock. Commander Ray stood motionless before it, the station lights casting long shadows behind her. The signal, clearer now, too clear, pulsed once more. Another whisper in a voice that had never been meant for human ears. Behind her, Jonah was quiet, watching. He hadn't moved since the last message had played. This message was not meant for you. The words lingered like smoke. In Station Echo 7, main briefing room, 20 minutes later, the crew was gathered. 11 officers in total. Command, comm systems, logistics, flight crew. Faces tight, eyes uncertain. All of them had seen parts of the decoded footage by now. None of them wanted to see more. RA, you've all reviewed the data. You know what's out there. No one spoke. RA commented, this wasn't a typical signal. This wasn't even a distress beacon in any conventional sense. It was a record, a memory, and now an invitation, or maybe a challenge. LT Sanders, the station's tactical officer, sat forward. Sanders, with all due respect, Commander, we don't know anything. That footage could have been 100 years old. That threat, whatever it is, might already be long gone. Jonah, then why did the signal change? Why is it still responding to us? Sanders, maybe because we poked at it. Doesn't mean we need to keep digging. Hell, maybe we're activating something we don't understand. Murmurs rippled through the room. RA, I've sent a preliminary flag to EarthGov Command. Level 2 alert. Dr. Alara Voss, science officer, raise a hand. Dr. Voss, which means we won't hear back for at least 12 hours. We're on a deep delay line out here. Protocol says we wait. RA, protocol doesn't cover this. We received a non-human transmission embedded with interspecies encryption and a live coordinate trail. That's not just noise. That's intent. Chief Pilot Marin frowned. Marin, so what exactly are you proposing, Commander? Ray stepped forward, setting a data pad on the central table. It displayed the newly rendered star map, now showing a faint trail leading from Echo 7 to Theta 117. RA, a recon flight. Quiet. 2 ships. No engagement unless necessary. We intercept the source of the signal and determine its origin and threat level. Sanders, without authorization, you're asking us to violate deep space operational code. RA, I'm asking you to decide what's right. Not safe, not political. Right. A tense silence. No one looked directly at Ray. She wasn't just their commanding officer anymore, not in this moment. She was a person asking others to trust her judgment, even when that judgment might lead them to something no one would return from. LT Kell, the youngest comms officer, shifted uncomfortably. Kell, I saw the last fragment. The alien voice, it didn't sound hostile. It sounded scared. Sanders, or pretending. We're assuming morality applies across species. That message could be bait. RA could be. Or it could be someone's last attempt to keep the galaxy from making the same mistake they did. Dr. Voss. Either way, if it's still active, someone should answer, even if it's just to turn it off. Ray took a breath. RA, we're voting, not because I'm uncertain, but because you deserve to choose the risks you face. We're isolated, deep space, no oversight. Whatever happens next, we own it. She looked around. RA commented, Option 1, we follow protocol. We shut the signal out, encrypt the data, and wait for EarthGov. Sanders, and let command decide from thousands of kilometers away, hours too late. RA, Option 2, we send a recon patrol. Quiet approach. Fast in, fast out. We learn something. She paused. RA firm. We vote. Now, hands up for Option 1. 3 hands rose. Sanders, Chief Engineer Alric, and Lieutenant Reese. RA, Option 2. 7 hands. Jonah didn't raise his. He just looked at Ray. RA, to Jonah. Well, Jonah, I'm going either way. So what's the point? That got a faint smile from her. RA, motion carries. She turned back to the datapad, tapping the display. Flight plans flickered on screen. 2 ships. The Kestrel and the Argo, light-class recon vessels, fast but lightly armed. RA counted. Jonah, prep the decryption suite. Dr. Voss, I want you riding Argo. Marin, flight lead. You depart at 0400 station time. Sanders, and if you're wrong? Ray met his eyes without blinking. RA, then we learn. Maybe not in the way we hoped, but we learn. The crew began to disperse. Some silent, some murmuring doubts. Ray stood at the edge of the table as Jonah lingered. Jonah, you ever get the feeling we're about to make history? RA, only when it feels like we're making a mistake. He gave her a crooked grin and walked out. Ray turned toward the viewport. Far out in the black, beyond cold stars and forgotten silence, something waited, and it had heard them. To be continued. Next chapter, the arrival. The Kestrel and Argo reach Theta 117. But what they find is not just wreckage. It's the aftermath of a war no one survived and something still listening. The stars in this part of space were wrong. Too distant. Too cold. And hanging over all of it was a strange stillness, like the silence after a scream. 2 recon ships, Kestrel and Argo, emerged from sublight translation formation, hulls gleaming dully against the void. Their running lights blinked once, then dimmed as they dropped into stealth mode. In Kestrel Command Pod, Commander Ray sat in the forward pilot seat, suited up and strapped in. Beside her, Pilot Marin scanned the incoming telemetry. Marin, we're at the coordinates. No movement on passive scans. RA, no movement isn't the same as no danger. Bring us in slow. The view screen adjusted, magnifying the field ahead. There it was, a graveyard. Dozens of alien ships, or what remained of them, drifted in a massive debris field. Hulks twisted open like peeled metal, engines cold, fragments tumbling slowly in zero gravity. Some had clearly exploded from within. Others looked melted. RA, begin detailed scan. Look for life pods, functioning cores, anything intact. In Argo, Science Bay. Dr. Lara Voss sat hunched over her instruments, eyes wide as the data streamed in. Dr. Voss comes. Kestrel, this fleet didn't die in a battle. It was consumed. Some of this damage is molecular decay, like the hulls unravel from the inside out. Ray, VO, then what killed them? Dr. Voss. I don't know, but it wasn't fast. The energy signatures stretch over 36 hours. Whatever was, it took its time. In Kestrel rear compartment, Jonah sifted through the latest data packet from Voss, scrolling past spectral anomalies and fluctuating gravimetric fields. Then something caught his eye. Jonah, Commander, we got a ping. Faint life sign. Could be a stasis pod. RA. Location? Jonah. Grid 9 Delta. Just outside the main cluster. Looks like it drifted clear of the core blast zone. RAE. Bring it aboard. In Kestrel Docking Bay. The pod was black and hexagonal, about 3 meters long, rimmed with alien glyphs that pulsed faintly. The interior glass was clouded, but inside they could see a figure. Humanoid in shape but taller, leaner, skin pale silver blue. Its chest rose and fell slowly. Alive. Dr. Voss. Vitals are stable. Stasis is active, but the unit's damaged. If we don't stabilize it, they'll crash out of cryo unsafely. RA. Do it. Carefully. The crew set to work, guided by Voss. Jonah kept an eye on the outer sensors, his nerves buzzing. Something about the field was wrong. The debris didn't drift naturally. It flowed, as if pulled. Jonah, quietly. Commander, I think we're being watched. RA. Define watched. Jonah, some of the debris. It's not following Newtonian drift. It's pivoting, like it's adjusting to our movement. Ray moved quickly to his console. RA. Are you seeing propulsion trails? Jonah. No, nothing active, but mass is shifting. The farther we go in, the more it tilts. Dr. Voss comes. We're almost ready to wake the survivor. Ray hesitated. RA. Hold on. Jonah. Full sensor sweep. Broad spectrum. In Argo. Scanner array. Voss's screen lit up as Jonah's request pinged across her systems. A new waveform appeared. Dr. Voss, startled. Commander! Something's under the debris. RA. How big? Dr. Voss. Very. Like moon scale. But no active systems. No heat. It's cloaked under radiation shadows. RA. Could it be wreckage? Dr. Voss. If it is, it's the biggest wreck I've ever seen. But I don't think it's dead. It's breathing. In Kestrel Med Bay. The alien's eyes snapped open, not in panic, in recognition. It took a ragged breath, and its lips moved. A single word came out, translated roughly by Jonah's patched-together interface. Run. The lights flickered. The power cut for exactly 1.2 seconds, then came back. Every alarm on the ship began blinking at once. Marin, VO. Something's locking onto our trajectory. Massive energy spike from beneath the debris field. RA. All units, fall back. And Argo bridge. Dr. Voss slammed her hand on the emergency intercom. Dr. Voss. It's not a ship. It's alive. That mass, it's some kind of entity. And it's waking up. EXT, deep space, Theta 117. From beneath the shattered fleet, something unfurled. Not mechanical. Not artificial. A vast, tendril-like structure emerged from the wreckage, coiling through the field like a serpent in slow motion. It had no eyes, no lights, only pressure waves and distortions of gravity itself. The signal stopped transmitting, then started again. Faster now, urgent, like a heartbeat. In Kestrel, flight deck. Ray grabbed the console. RA, power to engines. Get us out now. The alien in stasis tried to speak again, choking on the atmosphere, eyes wide with terror. Jonah translated as best he could from fragmented vocalizations. Jonah, they thought we sent it. We didn't. We only heard it. Too late. You heard it now, too. RA, Grim. So we were never the target. Jonah, no. RA. Then what was? Before anyone could answer, the entity beneath them pulsed. A massive, silent surge through space that blacked out half their screens. RA to comms. Prepare for jump. Marin, we don't have a clear vector. RA, find one. Fast. The signal's final words repeated through the static. It knows you're listening now. To be continued. Next chapter. The truth behind the signal. The alien survivor shares the real purpose of the transmission and the horrifying secret of what was meant to lure. The alien lay strapped to the medbed, convulsing softly as the emergency jump stabilized the ship's systems. Ray stood near the bulkhead, helmet clipped to her side, watching. Jonah was at the translation console, sweat beading along his temple as he frantically tuned the interface. In Kestrel Medbay post-jump stabilization, the creature's lips parted again, but the sounds that emerged weren't speech. They were harmonic, layers of frequency, like chords formed with air, not random, not chaotic, intentional. Jonah, it's not talking to us. It's talking through us. Ray took a step closer. R.A., can you isolate meaning? Jonah, I think I can show you. He connected the neural interface, a prototype he'd adapted months earlier for theoretical xenopsychology training. It was never tested in the field. Definitely never on a living alien. R.A., that's experimental. Jonah, so is everything we've done since the signal. He activated the link. The alien's voice surged, not through ears, but inside their minds. A wave of color, pressure, and sound. Everyone in the medbay gasped as the translation interface activated across their retinal HUDs. R.A. quietly, what the hell? Neural imaging, shared vision sequence. Suddenly, they weren't aboard the Kestrel anymore. They were there in the aliens' memories. A battlefield, vast, burning, ships cracked open in orbit, worlds split and tumbling into stars. The survivors' race, luminous beings with branching nerve light beneath their translucent skin, were falling one by one. Voices, thoughts, passed through them like echoes. We trusted them. They knew. They always knew. They saw another species, gray, sleek, bone-armored, the enemy, but not alien to the survivor. Familiar, once allied. We offered sanctuary. They demanded surrender. The betrayal had come suddenly. The enemy had used the signal not to answer, but to find, and when they did, they erased. Ray staggered, clutching her head. The memory kept unfolding. A council chamber, dark and high-walled, where desperate alien voices debated in flashes of light and scent and sound. One suggestion had overridden the rest. Use the old channels. Let them find us. Lure them back to the grave they made. The signal had been built, not as a cry for help, but as a trap, a synthetic mimic of desperation. A baited line cast into the void. Neural vision, shift. They watched as fleets fell silent. Their distress beacons altered, encoded with just enough pain and urgency to mimic real calls. The enemy would come, expecting victory again. But by then, the survivors would have rigged the field. We became the last voice, the last mistake, the last light. Then silence. Back to reality. Int. Medbay. The neural link severed. Jonah gasped, dropping to his knees. Ray braced herself against the wall. Voss stumbled in from the hallway, having seen the data feed spike. Voss, what happened? R.A. The signal wasn't a distress call. It was a weapon. Jonah, hoarse, not in the traditional sense. It was a beacon designed to attract the enemy. A decoy, a lure, something they'd chase, so others could hide. R.A. But we weren't supposed to hear it. Voss. And now that we have... She didn't finish the sentence. The alien on the bed opened its eyes. They burned with something more than survival now. Resolve. It spoke again, and this time the interface translated clearly. We knew you would come. Not you, them, but now both. The enemy follows the signal. They always have. Ray stepped forward. R.A., you sent that message. To bring them back? The alien looked away. Shame, or perhaps strategy. We gave our lives to bury them here. You just opened the tomb again. Jonah checked the comms panel. His face paled. Jonah, Commander! The signal restarted. Full strength. Wider frequency band. It's echoing our response signal. We're rebroadcasting what we heard. R.A., that's not possible. We didn't transmit. Jonah, it's automatic. A handshake protocol. Their system expected a reply, and now it's using our own comms array to amplify it. R.A. So now we're the bait. The alien turned its gaze back to Ray, voice soft but firm. You inherited our war. A pause. Then, or you can finish what we started. Voss, we need to shut the signal down. R.A. No, not yet. The others stared at her. R.A. counted. We need to know if the enemy's still out there. If they're listening. Jonah, we saw what they do. If they're listening, they're coming. R.A. Then we find them first. The alien blinked slowly. You think you are hunters. You are not. Voss, Commander, this thing's speaking in riddles and warnings. But one thing's clear. That signal, it's like blood in the water. And now, they know we bleed too. The gravity alarms chirped softly. Jonah turned. Jonah, gravimetric lens just registered a shift. Distant but definite. R.A. Could be a sensor echo. Jonah, or a reply. Silence settled over the bridge. Ray stepped toward the viewing window, where stars shimmered like a million watching eyes. The signal still pulsed, but now it wasn't alone. There was another, to be continued. Final chapter. We answered anyway. The signal now pulsed in two rhythms. One from them, and one from something else, distant, cold, and getting closer. And Kestrel, command deck. Commander Ray stood before the central display, arms crossed, staring at the expanding gravimetric waves. A ripple in deep space, subtle but accelerating. The enemy wasn't guessing. They were coming. Behind her, Jonah monitored spectral distortion. Try and triangulate the source. Jonah, it's still too far out to get a visual. But whatever it is, it's bending space as it travels. R.A. How long? Jonah, 6 hours. Maybe less. Ray exhaled slowly. There was still time. Just enough to run. In Kestrel briefing room, the crew gathered again. Fewer words this time. They already knew. R.A. We have enough power for a jump to safe space. If we leave now, we won't be followed. We burn the comms, wipe the signal trail, and we disappear. No consequences. No war. She looked at each of them. R.A. counted. Oh, we stay. We show them we heard. We stand our ground. And if we have to, we answer. The silence stretched. L.T. Ree, we're not built for this fight. Marin, but maybe we were never supposed to be. Dr. Voss, we've always believed humanity was small, insignificant out here. But that was before we picked up this. R.A., the universe just realized we're listening. Now we get to decide what it hears next. Jonah looked around. Jonah, I say we stay. One by one, the heads nodded. No vote this time. They already knew the answer. In Kestrel, Hangar Bay, preparations began. The engineers reinforced the Kestrel's hull plating. Spare fuel cells were rerouted to power experimental shielding grids. Argo was reconfigured for signal amplification. If this came to communication, they'd make sure it was loud. The alien survivor stood now, weak but upright, stabilized in atmosphere. Their voice came less fragmented, words forming more naturally through the translator. You would face them. Alone. R.A. Not alone. Just first, they will not hesitate. R.A. Then neither will we. EXT, orbit of Sector Theta, 117 hours later. They waited near the wreckage field. Not hiding, just visible. The Kestrel hovered in position, with Argo drifting beside it, broadcasting a wideband message loop in a calculated rhythm. The aliens' words translated into something new. We are here. We hear you. We will not run. The signal was no longer a trap, no longer a lie. It was a declaration. Int, Kestrel, command deck. The gravimetric pressure spiked. Jonah's console lit up. Jonah, contact. R.A. Visual? He nodded and routed the feed to the main screen. Through the field of fractured wreckage, a shape emerged. Dark, massive, not a ship in any human sense. More like a living construct, like a deep-sea creature evolved to move through space. It shimmered with molecular armor and folded geometry, as if reality resisted mapping its true form. It stared, not with eyes, but with intent. A presence felt across instruments and instincts alike. The alien survivor on board the Kestrel fell silent, then knelt. It sees you. It expected silence. You gave it defiance. You are not prey. You are anomaly. The enemy ship held position. No weapons charged. No signal sent. Only observation. RA to comms. Is it scanning us? Jonah. No. It's listening. RA. Send the message again. Jonah. Same phrasing? RA. No. Add one line. We are not what you expected, but we are what's next. For 3 long minutes, nothing changed. Then a new signal arrived. Not in language, not even in sound. A pattern, an acceptance of terms. A recognition that the trap had failed, but the challenge had not. Voss. I think it's letting us live. RA. No. It's letting us speak. Int. Earth got command. 2 weeks later. The transmission reached Earth via relay beacons, heavily encrypted, partially corrupted, but intact in its core message. Humanity's first contact had not been diplomatic or scientific. It had been a choice, a decision not to run. Commander Ray's report closed with one sentence. We are no longer alone, but neither are we silent. In Kestrel, observation deck, days later. The Kestrel floated at the edge of Sector Theta 117. A beacon now orbited nearby, transmitting the same frequency as before, but with new code layered over it. The trap had become a warning and a promise. Jonah leaned beside Ray as she stared out into the dark. Jonah, we could have left. R.A., then we'd still be waiting for someone else to speak for us. He nodded. Jonah, we changed things. R.A., no. We just made sure the galaxy knows. If it whispers to Earth, Earth whispers back. She turned and walked away. Behind her, space remained quiet, but no longer indifferent. The end. Title Echo. The signal wasn't meant for humans, but we answered anyway.